Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I would like to call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us during our weekly hybrid Emirates breakfast meetings. My name is Pauline Lam from Cotai Realty, and I am your January program chair. At this time, please welcome our 2024 President-elect Yingber to lead Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me great pleasure this morning to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. And please put your right hand over your heart and recite along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Please be seated. We will now have our inspirational quote. Welcome, Bob Chu, Champion Escrow.
With everything that has happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what happened as a gift. Everything is either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You can choose. Wayne Dyer.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. A little about me. I am Pauline Lam from Cotai Realty, and I serve with the real estate industry over 21 years. And this year, I'm so honored to be our association's 2024 Vice President. And that's so great honor to serve all of you. And besides association's volunteer job, I'm also CAR Director, and I'm Region 16 representative. This year, I will join the Global Business Forum. And I also one of the leadership in California, RRCCRS, as 2024 Education Chair. Locally, I have great honor to serve Los Angeles County Assessor's Office as one of the member of the advisory board, and Lin and Ying, also the members. If you are a member and would like to make an announcement, please fill out the announcement form and locate on my left. Return the completed forms to Berlin. Thank you. A few housekeeping tips. All participants on Zoom will be muted upon entry to the Emirates breakfast meeting. And should you have a question or a comment, please enter it into the chat box. Please remember to join us weekly, as we will have our hybrid Emirates breakfast meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. Please remember to follow WSGVR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all our pre-recorded videos on YouTube. Today's agenda consists of our affiliate spotlight, Derek Talbert, Bird's Eye Management Services, and as well as our guest speaker, Jeffrey Prang, Los Angeles County Assessor. Welcome. Just a reminder, to be eligible for today's drawing, you must be a WSGVR member and be in person at the association. We will be having an attendance drawing, WSGVR store gift certificate drawing, and 50-50 raffle. Today, our affiliate spotlight and introductions will be brought to you by Affiliates Committee Chair Brandon Spransky, First American NHD, Vice Chair Derek Talbert, Bird's Eye Management Services. Take it away, Derek.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Derek Talbert of Bird's Eye Management Services. Since I am the video guy, I figured I might as well make a video for my spotlight. So I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. My name is Derek Talbert, owner of Bird's Eye Management Services, and this is my affiliate spotlight. Bird's Eye Management Services is a digital media company. So my projects include things like weddings, real estate, 3D designs and modeling, social media consulting, and I also build websites like this. If you're ever in need of anything that requires a camera or a tech nerd, I'm your guy. If you have any questions or want to know more, all of my contact information is right there. And of course, I'm at the board every Thursday for the most part, so feel free to just walk up and talk to me. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. That is a very professional videos. Thank you, Derek, for your sharing. Please remember to support our affiliates with your transactions. We will now have our affiliates introduction for today. All paid affiliates present today, please line up right now at front, and no promotion and no announcement. It's a morning greeting only, and we will begin with affiliates in person. Please walk off toward the door after your greeting first.
Well, hello, testing, is this on? I always promote myself, so here I am, Cosmo Sanchez, and I am a mortgage lender with new AIM funding. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Derek Talbert again, Bird's Eye Management. Have a great day.
Judy Chow, Senior Loan Officer.
Good morning, Sage Gomez with my NHG. Have a wonderful day.
Good morning, I'm Phoebe Liu from USS Bank, local commercial home loan officer. Thank you, a wonderful day. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Kevin Chung from Union Station.
Is the mic working? Nancy Chan, lawyer's title. Happy New Year, everybody.
Good morning. Lena Sankara from US Bank Home Mortgage in Pasadena. I don't think it's loud. It's not probably not working, but hi guys, Angie Tang. Good morning. Happy New Year. Angie Tang, First American Title. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Xavier with LA Trash Junkers.
Good morning. Hard to follow that, right? Adriana Morgan with Bureau Clean Home Restoration.
Good morning, John from Tahiti. Oh no, my vacation is over. So welcome. Happy 2024, Johnson from Budget Blinds.
Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Shelly Chia from US Bank. I'm a private wealth advisor. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Melody Xu with Atlantic Escrow.
Good morning, everybody. Oriana Chan with Prime Lending.
Good morning. This is Ken Shen of Trans Global Private Lending. Have a good day.
Good morning, Bob Chu, Champion Escrow.
Morning, everybody. Eduardo Higuchi with New York Life. Thank you.
Good morning and a happy new year. My name is Sam Yu and I'm with Primerica Mortgage.
Good morning, everyone. Jacqueline Chu from Champion Escrow.
Good morning and happy new year. James Wong from Taylor Closets.
Good morning, everybody. Pearl Wu from Sunrun Solar. Have a great day.
I don't need a mic. Good morning, everyone. Yolanda Martinez Aranda, WFG National Title Company. Have an awesome day and Happy New Year.
Good morning, Ethel Chow with HSBC Bank. Have a good day. Thank you.
Good morning, David Trang with Home Guard Home Warranty. I'm the guy who makes you rich every Thursday morning. Don't forget.
Thank you. And please support 50/50 raffle, West and Gabriel Valley Association of Realtor. Next, we welcome affiliates who are joining us virtually. And first is John Wax, Snap NHD. John, good morning.
Good morning, Pauline. Good morning, everyone. John Wax with Snap NHD, Natural Hazard Disclosure Reports. Have a wonderful caravan and Happy New Year.
Thank you and Happy New Year again. And Janet Lowe, ACG Funding. All right, and Judy already here, right? Thank you. We are happy to include open pitching to our hybrid MLS breakfast meeting. If you would like to pitch your listing, you must go to www.wsgvr.org. Click on Caravan Request Form, fill it out, and submit it no later than third Tuesday night of the week you want to pitch. Today, we have two listing features. First, Gloria Shaw, Remax Elite Realty. Gloria, take it away. Gloria, please unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. And I'm very glad to have such a chance to pitch my property. And I really like our hybrid pitching because I have been driving, trying to be on time, but I cannot. I have to stop somewhere in San Gabriel Country Club and give the pitch, okay? So this is a property 426 West Bangkok in the city of San Gabriel. Everybody can hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
So great. So this is 5-bedroom, 4 baths. Actually, this property is on a R2 zone. And it has a front unit and a back unit and have a converted house of the garage. Covers an area of 1,560 square feet. And then the lot size is more than 6,000. We have an open house today. This property, the location is ideal for a lot of family. It's next to Valley Boulevard, next to New Avenue, next to Delmar Avenue. It's walking distance to a lot of supermarket and grocery store, and it sell $699,000. We have open house today from 10 to 12. Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 4. You're welcome to join us. And thank you so much. Please bring your buyer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good
Thank you.
listing. Next is Barbara Perez. Keller Williams, Pasadena. Barbara. Hey, good morning. Thank you. Very nice. If you did not register for Caravan, but today you have an active listing in the MLS that you would like to pitch right now, please come up now and pitch your listing and do not discuss the commissions. Do we have anyone? No. Okay. At this time, please help me welcome our very special speaker, Jeffrey Prang, Los Angeles County Assessor. And I would like to introduce you, our Assessor, Jeffrey Prang. Los Angeles County Assessor Jeffrey Prang was elected in 2014 as the 27th Assessor for the County of Los Angeles and re-elected in 2018 and 2022. The Los Angeles County Assessor's Office is the largest assessment agency in the nation with 1,400 employees and provide the foundation for a property tax system that generate 24 billion annually for vital county public service, such as first responder, education, and transportation upgrades. Under the leadership and direction of Assessor Jeff Prang, the Los Angeles County Assessor's Office has continued building the Assessor Modernization Project, we call AMP, a state-of-the-art property assessment system replacing 40 years old legacy system. Please help me give a very, very warm welcome to our speaker, Assessor Prang. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. It's nice to be back. It's been a number of months since I was here. How many people here have heard me speak before? Most people. So I was trying to gauge whether I should use some of my stupid jokes. But you've probably heard that. You've probably heard them all a million times. And Pauline also asked me to. She said, I told her I was going to speak for like 15 to 20 minutes. She said, "Can you go on longer?" I said, "Nobody ever wants a politician to speak longer." But I'll add a little bit at the front by telling. I don't have a joke, but I have a story. It was kind of funny actually. When I first got elected, I asked my staff. I said, "Find me some assessor jokes," and there are none. Assessors are not funny people. So there are almost no jokes online about assessors. But I found an interesting story related to assessors as it deals with one of our former presidents, Harry Truman. So Harry Truman, before he was president, before he was vice president, before he was a U.S. senator, he started his career as a county supervisor in Missouri. And one year he went to the political boss of Kansas City, Missouri, a guy named Tom Pendergrast, who's the guy who got everybody elected. And he told Pendergrast, he says, "I want to run for assessor because it pays more money than being a supervisor." And Tom Pendergrast said, "Harry, you're not smart enough to be the assessor. We're going to run you for United States Senate instead." Yeah, but in any event, it's great to be back here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with West San Gabriel as often as I can. As assessor, I've tried to maintain a special relationship with realtors throughout LA County. We're all kind of in the same business. We're on the real estate business, and it's my hope that by engaging with you as often as I can, we can provide you information that will make you a better informed professional, and also help me a little bit by sharing a lot of our programs and services with your clients. One little fun fact you may have known, I may have said this before, but I thought I'd remind you that my very first job after I graduated from Michigan State University was as a realtor in my hometown of Warren, Michigan, with a RE/MAX affiliate. I wasn't very good at it, which is why I went into government. But I always, most of you have probably heard this before, but I always like to provide a little bit of a refresher on what I call Assessor 101 anytime I speak, just simply because I spend most of my time, even with people who know better, telling them that I'm not the guy who collects taxes. That is the tax collector who collects taxes. And just as a refresher, the way the property tax administrative system works is when you buy a home, you record a deed with the registrar recorder. Or if you do new construction, you pull a permit with the city. The registrar recorder and the city sends us those deeds and those building permits, and then my appraisers determine the value of the property. And that's essentially all we do. We are responsible for determining the market value of the property at the time of new construction or transfer. We then turn over all that data to another department you've never heard of called the auditor controller. They're the ones who tell you how much you owe. They're the ones who apply the assessments, the bonds, all, but I don't have anything to do with rates or the actual taxes. When the auditor controller is done telling you how much you owe, they give that data to the tax collector, who sends you the bills and collects all the money. And as Pauline had indicated, as assessor, I'm one of 3 countywide elected officials, along with the sheriff and the district attorney. We're responsible for establishing the value for 2.5 million real property parcels and over 300,000 business assessments in the county, which last year were valued at $2 trillion. That's with a T. And one of the things that's got me excited about that number recently is I learned not long ago that over 100 years ago, the assessor was compensated with a percentage of the assessment roll, kind of like on a commission. And I was thinking, that's not such a bad idea. So I thought maybe like 1% of $2 trillion, that might be a fair compensation. What do you think, Albert? So we work on a fiscal year. The assessment roll is developed on a fiscal year between July 1st and June 30th. So we are now moving into our crunch time where we're trying to process all the transactions that have taken place in 2023 in preparation for roll closure in June. So I don't have updated statistics, but I'll give you a little bit of update about what happened in 2023. Last year, for the 13th consecutive year, property values countywide increased. They increased 5.91% countywide compared to 2022. It grew about almost 7% in 2022. The $2 trillion in assessed value for all this property generates about $24 billion in property taxes, which is relied upon by county government, city government, and public schools and special districts, and all property taxes stay locally. None of it goes to Sacramento. To give you an idea of what's going on locally in terms of property value growth, we have a chart here on the screen which shows a lot of the cities in your coverage area. As you can see at the bottom, county property values increased 5.9% countywide. All the cities in Alhambra, Monterey Park, Rosemead, San Gabriel, Temple City, all kind of tracked near or close to the county-wide average. And we put on that chart the number of homes, apartments, and commercial property parcels, as well as the total assessed value. And as you know, the assessed value is lower than the market value. So assessed value stays relatively stable, while market value will go up and down, usually up in LA. Another statistic that I want to bring your attention deals with the sales prices for single-family homes, or median sales price. In August of 2022, the peak of housing prices under COVID, the median sales price for a single-family home, not including condominiums in LA County, reached $910,000. They dipped a little bit. There's a bit of a market correction after that, and some values went down a little bit, although always remaining higher than they were pre-COVID. But the latest data set that we've assembled shows that the median sales price for a single-family home countywide is now $900,000, and continuing to increase. Again, we have a chart which shows the updated median sales price for single-family homes in this area. As you can see, the median sales price for a single-family home in amongst this group of cities is $850,000 in Rosemead to $1.1 million in San Gabriel. And there's the statistics. If you look at, you'll see Alhambra and Temple City has a negative number. That's not anything to be alarmed about. That doesn't mean that property values are growing there. That's just a reflection of the market correction post-COVID. Something else we've talked a lot about that still requires lots of discussion because it's still confusing and complicated for a lot of people is Proposition 19 that was adopted in November of 2020. It does just as a refresher, Prop 19 does two things. One, it allows a base year transfer. It allows you to transfer your tax base if you are over 55 years of age, if you are severely disabled, or if you're the victim of a natural disaster such as a flood, fire, or earthquake. It allows you to transfer your tax base 3 times or 6 times if you're married. You could transfer your tax base anywhere in the state, and you can transfer it to a property of any value. And there's a general rule that will help you save. It makes your tax base portable. There are some cases where your taxes may go up. That is, if the home that you're buying is more expensive than the one that you're selling, but it would be a blended rate, not a straight market rate. The other part of Prop 19 which is much more controversial and extremely unpopular, is the component that deals with family inheritance. So under the previous law, you could inherit your parents' home without being reassessed. And if they owned other properties, such as a rental, you could inherit an additional $1 million in value without reassessment. Prop 19 slashed and burned inheritance benefits and reduced them rather dramatically. So under Prop 19, the only property that you can inherit from your parents, in some cases your grandparents, without reassessment is your parents' primary residence. And in order to qualify for that, to inherit that tax base, you must make that residence your primary residence within 12 months and file the homeowner's exemption. So if your parents owned other property, rental properties, those will all be reassessed at market value when you inherit them, and you'll receive a tax increase. The other element of Prop 19 is that the value that you can inherit from your parents is capped at more or less at $1 million. So if the home is worth $800,000, you can inherit that home without being reassessed with a new tax rate. If it's over $1 million, you're going to get a new blended tax rate. And essentially the way it would work, the value of the home under $1 million would be assessed at your parents' rate, and the value over $1 million will be assessed at market rate. That's been very controversial. I'm not sure Prop 19 would have passed if people were aware of that inheritance component, but there is an effort right now by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association to repeal that component that dealt with family inheritance. The Prop 19 still is a challenge for my office. You may recall I've discussed in the past, it was an enormous amount of work for our office, but Prop 19 did not give me any additional money, any additional personnel. It added an enormous amount of work to our office. And the net result is that everything you need from my office takes longer now because I had to do a whole lot more work with the same number of people and it takes anywhere between 6 and 12 months for us to process a Prop 19 application. Those are the normal lag times just based on the limited number of people I have to process those. A couple questions about Prop 19 that come up all the time. So I'll try to anticipate those questions and answer them. One of the questions is, after I inherit my parents' home, do I have to live in the property for a certain amount of time to retain their tax base in a Prop 19? And the answer to that I kind of alluded to already is yes. You have to stay there, and you have to stay there forever as long as you want to maintain that tax base. You can move out and you can rent it, but when you do that, we are going to reassess the property at market rate. There is no fixed amount of time. The only way that you can keep that tax base is for you or one of your qualifying siblings to stay in that property in perpetuity. If you want to use it as a vacation home or a rental, you can do that, but we're going to reassess it to market, and you'll have to accommodate that increase in taxes. The other one is, who in the family can you transfer the property to qualify for a Prop 19 exclusion from reassessment? So the Prop 19 only counts between parents and children, and in some cases, parents and grandchildren. Transfers between other family members, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, cousins, even your siblings does not count. And actually, not related to Prop 19, but just generally, this is an area where people get in a lot of trouble because they misunderstand what the law says. There's very few relationships where you can transfer property without reassessment. You can transfer property between spouses, or between children and parents in both directions, and between grandparents and grandchildren. But here's a common thing that happens all the time. Somebody's parent dies, and let's say 3 siblings inherit it. And then 2 of the siblings don't want to be involved. They want to get bought out. So the 3rd sibling pays them off and changes the deed, takes the names of the other 2 off the deed. And then they get stuck with a supplemental bill and a reassessment, and they're confused because it's still the family home. The family still owns it. It's just siblings. It doesn't feel like it's a reassessable event, but under the law, it is. Anytime you add or delete somebody's name from a deed, you're going to get reassessed. This happens a lot during refinancing. Somebody will refinance and they'll decide to remove somebody or add somebody to the deed while they're going through refinancing. Refinancing does not cause a reassessment. A normal straight refinance, we don't reassess that. But usually during a refinance, when there's a reassessment, it's because you added or deleted somebody's name from the deed. And again, the only people who qualify for exemption from reassessment on an ownership are parents and children, grandchildren, and spouses. So another question is how much time do you have to what's the time frame in order to execute a Prop 19 base year transfer? You have 2 years. And you can do it in any order. You could buy a new home and then sell the old one, or you could sell the new one, then buy a new one. You just have to have both of those transactions done within 24 months in order to transfer. Here's another piece of information about Prop 19. So if you have a couple who owns a home and they get a divorce and they want to transfer that tax base, under that circumstance, one of the spouses gets to transfer it, the other one does not. So as part of your divorce proceedings, you need to decide which one is going to get the tax benefit and which one will not, because the law only allows one or the other to transfer it. This is not Prop 19, but this is just in general. It's another common point of confusion and causes a lot of phone calls and emails at our office, and that deals with what to do upon the death of a property owner. It is really important that you tell us when you die. Because under the law, if you own a piece of property, the moment that you pass away, your heir is the new owner, and the law says that we have to know who that new owner is. And the law says that you have to notify my office within 150 days. And if you don't, it can complicate inheritance and estate planning. It depending on how prompt you are at remedying this, you could end up getting supplemental bills. Actually, legally, if you don't notify us within 150 days, you could be subject to a fine. The challenge is we don't ever issue fines to anybody, because I think 99.9% of the people don't know they're supposed to fill out this form, and almost nobody submits it on time. But we do have thousands and thousands of cases where people have estate planning issues because they failed to file this form, and we find out about it later on, and then they get something called escaped taxes because you didn't tell us what happened at the time it occurred, and we have to go back and collect taxes back to that date. So it's very important that it's a form called the Change in Ownership Statement, Death of Real Property Owner. And then obviously with inheritance, you have to use the Prop 19. And even if your property is in a trust, remember, a trust is simply a set of instructions. It is not an autopilot. But a lot of people think because the property is a trust, when the owner dies, that they don't have to do anything, and that is not the case. You have to file that change in ownership statement. You have to file Prop 19. If you don't take all the appropriate steps, you will end up getting a supplemental tax bill. So moving on to a couple of other things. One of them I talk about all the time. You may be sick of me talking about this one, but I want to talk about the homeowner's exemption. My office manages a lot of programs to help taxpayers save money on their property taxes, programs for seniors, veterans, the disabled, religious institutions, public education institutions, nonprofits. But the homeowner's exemption is the most accessible tax savings program. Anybody who owns their home and occupies it qualifies for the homeowner's exemption. I emphasize this with realtors because I know that you're frequently in your marketing efforts and your communications with your clients, you're looking for interesting pieces of information to share. Well, 1/3 of all homeowners in the county do not apply for the homeowner's exemption. And they don't apply for it because they don't know about it. They've never heard about it. And as realtors, you talk to hundreds, if not thousands of people. This is something I would urge. I think if you're offering people an opportunity to save money on their taxes, they'll probably appreciate you. I recommend that all of your clients, as they go into closing, that you give them a copy of the homeowner's exemption form so they can start saving a little bit of money every year right off the bat. that information about that and all of our other useful tools and information for realtors is on our website. We have created a special page on our website designed specifically for realtors and real estate professionals. We put a lot of information in there that we think will help make you a more informed professional. We put information in there that you may want to cut and paste and share in your email or direct marketing with your clients. There's tools such as how to calculate the new tax rate on a Prop 19 base year transfer or inheritance. Again, if you are not subscribing already, we have sent out a monthly newsletter with really interesting information that anybody who owns property or is in the real estate industry would want to access. And we don't send out, our emails, I don't send out fluff. I don't send out pictures of me cutting ribbons. I try to give you something that will be useful to you and hopefully interesting and something to know about. A couple other programs that I'm excited about that we've recently launched. One of them is called our e-service account. So we're now allowing you to create an online presence associated with your property that will allow you to, we're going to be building out functionality over the next several years. Right now, you can go on and create an account, and you can do things like change of mailing address. Very shortly, you'll be able to send us corrections for property discrepancies, such as square footage or numbers of rooms. But the component of it, which is operational right now, which is most important, is our homeowner alert. I think everybody's aware that there's all types of new schemes to commit fraud against homeowners. And you're hearing advertisements of people who are trying to help you protect yourself against those who are trying to essentially steal your property by changing the deeds. Right now, anytime somebody records a deed, a grant deed, a deed of trust or a lien or anything else against your property, you will get a letter from the registrar recorder, usually 30 to 45 days after that occurrence. But if somebody's attempting to commit fraud against your property, that may be too late. So this new program, the Homeowner Alert, you can go on our website and you can register your email address with your property. And anytime somebody records something against your property, you'll get an email within 48 hours. And then you can just determine whether or not that is appropriate with something that you wanted to happen, or you will be able to tell whether somebody's attempting to commit fraud against you. So this is something if you own property, I urge you to register. And I would really be grateful for your assistance in spreading the word about the Homeowner Alert to your clients and to the people that you communicate with. The more people we have on this program, the more we can prevent people from being taken advantage of and having fraud committed against them. Because Pauline wanted me to ramble on incessantly for a very long time. I'll give you a couple updates about things that are going on in Sacramento. We are supporting some legislation this year. One of them, which will be very valuable to our office long-term, is we need state legislation to allow us to accept electronic signatures. I know in your business, you do that all the time. Government is 400 years behind private industry when it comes to things like this. But there's lots of forms, including the homeowner's exemption, other types of exemptions that still require us to receive a physical piece of paper with a signature. This legislation will allow us to accept electronic signatures, and it'll help us speed up a lot of our processes for the public. There is, many of you may not remember this, but when I was first elected, I launched an effort to try to close a legal loophole that allowed some mobile homeowners along the coast from avoiding property taxes. We have these mobile homes. Good example. Some of you may be familiar with some mobile home parks in Malibu, Point Dume and Paradise Cove. They were built back in the 50s for people, for surfers. But those properties now, if you ever go to Point Dume or Paradise Cove, they have these panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean. And they have these old mobile homes. They're 12 foot by 60 foot. And you have really wealthy people who are buying them. And then they're basically converting them into palaces. So a good example is the former president of CBS bought two of them side by side. He converted them and sold the property for like $5.5 million. But did you know how much he paid in property taxes? Zero. he paid $29 fee and to the DMV. And so my view was, if you convert your mobile home into a home, you should pay property taxes like everybody else. And I tried to get legislation passed. I was not successful. But last year, the Wall Street Journal was so appalled by this practice, they wrote a huge piece on it in their in the Wall Street Journal. So I'm going to make another effort to see if we can close that loophole. And then the last issue that's really important to assessors this year deals with affordable housing. We all know that affordable housing, homelessness is the issue of the day. And there's a lot of policymakers coming up with new and creative approaches to developing more affordable housing. Well, 2 or 3 years ago, some private developers got together with municipalities and came up with an idea of developing what they call workforce housing. It's not legally defined, but it's more or less housing for middle income people. And they started buying apartment buildings and leasing them out. Their hope was that because it's in partnership with a city, cities are exempted from property taxes, that they would save the property taxes and pass on the savings to the tenants. It was a nice idea. Unfortunately, the property tax system is extremely complicated. There's a lot of moving parts. They did not do their diligence. They did not talk to assessors before they started buying these apartments. And next thing you know, we have tens of thousands of people living in these buildings across California. There is a law, you've probably never heard of this before, here's a little education. So if you are a private entity who leases government land, government doesn't pay property taxes, but if you're leasing their land, you have to pay the taxes that are otherwise exempted for the government. Here's an example. You go to LAX, all the airlines, all the restaurants, all the stores, you know they're paying rent, but they also pay property taxes because the airport is exempt from property taxes. It's owned by the government. But under this law called possessory interest, meaning you have an interest, you have possession, you are using it as though it's private land, and so the exemption goes away. So now all these people, all these developers purchased these apartment buildings, leased them out to thousands of tenants, and our assessors are looking at this and says, all these tenants have a possessory interest. We have to assess them, and they have to pay property taxes. It's not something I want to do. That's what the law forces me to do, and it makes these projects almost unworkable the way that they are. It puts me in this horrible position of having to send people who are on modest incomes an assessment leading to property taxes. So we're trying to find a fix to that. I've been arguing with these administrators. I said, it's very unfair that you negligently created this new format, and then I have to be the bad guy, and I'm going to be the one who's going to get blamed for your mistakes. But that is a real serious issue. Not only in LA County, we have 19 of these projects with about 6,000 tenants. I will tell you, I'm not going to assess the tenants. I'm going to assess these the owners, and they can sue me, and we'll let the courts work it out. Thank you. So a couple of other just other odds and ends I like to talk about because they come up quite frequently, but we get a lot of questions about what happens if I go to the assessor's website and the property says it's 2,500 square feet with 3 bedrooms, but the city building and safety department says it's 2,000 square feet with 2 bedrooms. Who do I believe? 100% of the time, you believe the city. So what my records reflect is what's there. It does not reflect what's allowed to be there. We don't opine on whether or not what's on the property is legal or not. We just, if we see it there and we can measure it, we put it on our records. So typically when our records are different than the city's, the first thing I would say is that somebody did unpermitted construction. But just because you pay taxes on it, just because it's on my records, doesn't make it legal. The city could come in and tell you to tear it down or to pay fines or make it legal. The other issue deals with transfers of our reassessments. When do we reassess your property? As you know, under Prop 19 or Prop 13, your property is assessed at the time of a sale or a transfer. That's when we determine the assessed value. And we never look, that's it. You're done for as long as you own the property, except under two major conditions. One, there's a change in ownership. Typically, we talk as a change in ownership as a sale. But again, as you remember me talking earlier in my discussion, changing a deed, changing a name on the deed is a change in ownership. We would reassess the property if you remove or add a name to a deed. The other one is new construction. If you build an ADU, if you build a second floor, if you enclose a garage, or you add a swimming pool, we will assess the additional property that you add. We do not reassess your entire property. So let's say you have $1 million house and you build a $250,000 ADU. We will now change your combined assessed value from 1 million to 1,250,000. Even if the new market value was 2 million. We don't come up with a new market value for the property. We just add the new construction based on the square footage. And the ADUs they're no different than adding a pool for us. It's just all about materials, quality, and square footage. And the last thing that I want to mention, whenever there is a decline in the market, I am required by law to enroll your property value at your assessed value, which is essentially what you paid for it, or the current market value, whichever is lower. So in LA County, property values have been increasing for 13 years. So nobody's market level is going down, but in some cases it does. So if you paid $1 million for your property, then we have a recession and you can only sell it for $500,000. I am required by law to lower your assessment down to $500,000. We are expecting to do some decline in value assessments this year, but mostly on commercial office space, particularly downtown. As you all know, post-COVID, office space is, while people are returning to offices, they're not returning to offices in the same way they did before. Telework has become much bigger component. Offices that downtown are maybe staying downtown, but they're reducing their footprint. And we think that's going to have an impact on property values. And we're expecting to see a reduction in any big office buildings that have sold in the last 5 years may end up experiencing a decline in value and a reduction in their assessment. So there's a lot of stuff I think I gave. I'm going to stop here, and I think I've given so much information there cannot possibly be any questions. But I will be happy to take some if there are. Oh,
Let's start a question.
okay.
Please come to the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Prang. Very, very informative. I enjoyed that. I work for a title company, so I get asked a lot of questions. So I just want to clarify, which I'm sure a lot of the agents here have the same question. When recording a correction deed because of a legal description, or maybe it was a typo error for someone's name, or a woman gets married and now has to change her name, adding her new husband's last name, that will not trigger a reassessment of the property taxes, or does that?
No, just for those sort of administrative changes between spouses that would not.
Okay, so you mentioned between spouses, that will not trigger a reassessment, whether it's a divorce or just one spouse coming off and granting to the other.
That's correct. It is important to remember, though, that we need to know what that relationship is, particularly if you have different names.
Okay, and then how about when one vests their property into their trust?
So trusts, LLCs have a disproportionate impact of getting people in trouble. You can put your property in a trust and take it out of a trust. How you do it is really important. The ownership of the property before it goes in the trust has to be identical to the property in the trust. So if you have a husband and wife who own property and you put it in a trust, it's only in the wife's name, that could end up being a problem. Or if you add your children to the trust. Now you can do those things, but they require additional steps. Sometimes, usually the biggest thing is people will change the ownership by moving property in and out of trust. Same thing with the LLC, and LLCs are even more precise. Because as a general rule, an LLC is a separate entity. It is a change in ownership. There is a legal exemption that allows, if you're taking your property and putting it into a trust, which is wholly owned by you, you can do that. Any deviations will result in a reassessment. And the LLCs are even more complicated to unwind than a trust. So it's important that you consult with your with experts in moving property in and out of trusts and LLCs.
Thank you. And my last question, and I know you touched on it, but I just want to confirm some. When it comes to a death of a property owner, whether it's a death of vested as joint tenants or it's vested in a trust, so death of a trustee or death of someone in joint tenancy. Obviously, a lot of times those people are mourning. The public does not know, like you reflected in your presentation. They don't know about the 150-day rule. A lot of times that affidavit of death is not recorded until they go to sell. The heirs sell the property, so 10 years, 20 years later. The property gets reassessed from the date of death. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if they bought the property in 1960 and their taxes are super low and one of the owners just dies, then it gets assessed to today's value.
That's right.
That is correct. Okay.
And
That's what I just wanted to make sure.
also keep in mind under Prop 19, with transfer of the tax of the tax base, you have to do it in 12 months. Under the previous law, you could sometimes neglect to do that for years, and we could give you partial credit and make things perspective. Under Prop 19, it's 12 months. If you don't get it all done 12 months, you're out of luck. Your tax.
If it is a husband and wife situation
It's
and
up to
the spouse passes away, does
that-
it only get reassessed 50% because the husband's still alive
No,
and still on title?
there is no reassessment with spouses.
Okay.
Even if you neglect to do it, it's usually the transfer to your children or somebody else.
Okay, thank you.
Please ask a question. Okay, I'm here, sure. For example, we found, how do we change the county record?
You could just contact our office and submit what's the name of that? It's a record change. Actually has a specific name. We call that.
Is
On
that,
our website, I forgive that.
is that relatively fast or just?
Yeah,
gonna
it
take-
is. It's right now it's just a form you can fill out and submit. Starting next year, you'll be able to do it online. You'll just be able to go online and enter
You don't have to come out and inspect?
It depends on the nature of it. Sometimes, depending on what you submit, we'll be able to accept that. But this is one of those things that our new technology investment will help us to do online much more easily.
What's the turnaround time to get that corrected? You estimate?
It depends on the nature of the correction. It could be anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. It also depends on what time of year. Like right now, between now and June, anything that's not relative to what we call roll production, counting all of our final numbers, some things will get delayed till after July 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now one question.
Hi, Jeff. I'm Jacqueline Chu from Champion Escrow. Thank you for being here. You bring valuable information. My question is for my client. He's he's holding title right now with two other persons, all as joint tenants. One of the joint tenant, who is his brother, will transfer his 1/3 interest to him. So according to your presentation earlier, since they're siblings, there's not going to be exemptions, correct? So it will be reassessed.
Yes.
And if the reassessment is for higher, the property tax will be adjusted upward 1/3 of the new assessed price. Is that correct?
Typically, if there's 2 or 3 or more, it'll be proportional based on that proportion of change. So if there's 3 people and 2 people are getting out, 2/3 will be assessed at the new market value.
Okay, and then at this time, if the value has gone down, then it will be adjusted downward?
If the value of the property has gone down,
He believes his value has gone down. He does. He believes it's from 5 million to 4 million.
we'll take a very close look at that one. It's unlike other states and, LA, hearing about property losing value is a bit of a myth, but at least it doesn't happen very often. But yes, we would.
Okay.
We'd look at the
Thank
current
you.
market value.
I think that's all the time we have, right? So we have one more last question on Zoom. There's quite a few questions, but one of them is about the repeal of the death tax. Is that something you can talk about?
So, yeah, we did talk about that. The repeal of the death tax, that's kind of the campaign slogan, but that is Proposition 19, Prop 19, inheritance benefits. So Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, as I mentioned, is circulating petitions to repeal that. They're referring to the change in Prop 19 as it deals with inheritance as a new tax on death. And so they're calling it the death tax.
Thank you so much.
Truly.
And for those of you on Zoom, if you have more questions, you can feel free to submit them to the MLS committee.
And as you can see on your screen, my email there is there. Feel free to email us if any questions that we didn't get to answer. Send me a note and we'll have somebody respond to you. But once again, West San Gabriel Valley Association of Realtors, thank you very much for your kind attention, reception. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Presentation, and this is very good beginning of the 2024, and we thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a little token to show our appreciation to you.
I hope it's gold coins.
Thank you. Now is our wonderful time to meet our president. 2024, President Lin Chao will give us president message. Assessor Prang, I have a question. How do I contact you after I die? Go to your website. I can haunt you. Thank you so much for coming. Actually, I'll be happy to haunt him. Okay, good evening, good morning. I'm not thinking correctly. I'm thinking about death now. I have something to share with you today. Last week, I didn't want to share bad news with you, but this week I have a little of not too good news from NAR. So on January 8th of this year, 2024, NAR President Tracy Casper, who was just installed last year, has resigned. Okay, she resigned because she was receiving blackmail threats and financial threats on her. She didn't feel comfortable to continue as an NAR president. So the president-elect, Kevin Sears, has stepped up immediately. So we now have a man as our president at NAR. This is really loud. This mic is scaring me. My voice is scaring me. By the way, I do haunt people, okay? The other not so good news is that regarding the NAR lawsuits. So on December 27th of 2023, there's a new lawsuit. It's called UMPA. It's the latest lawsuit against buyer broker commission. So this is one of 10 lawsuits from NAR, okay? And again, that he's suing the National Association of Realtors, the Home Service of America, Keller Williams, Compass, EXP, Redfin United Real Estate, Which Chart Realtor, Howard Hanna, Douglas Element at Whirl, the Real Brokerage, Realtor One, and HomeSmart. And this is in the court district of the Western District of Missouri. So this person believed that conspired to implement anti-competitive restraints. So they're also talking about commission again. So the co-plaintiff forced seller to pay excess commission. Good thing is that it's not with California. So no lawsuit in California at this time, okay? So we must be cross our finger doing something right. but we still highly recommend you guys go to CAR to take the free class. It's until January 3rd, end of this month, right? The buyer representation of the form. So please do. So we do have 10 lawsuits. So be careful out there right now. We don't know how the market is going to shift, or how things going to happen. But NAR filed counter lawsuit. They want to have them retrieve and move forward again. So we're going to see what happens. Okay. So I'm sorry after the assessor tell you that you guys are assessed with an increase of property taxes. I'm here telling you a little bit bad news, but I promise I won't haunt you. Thank you very much. Thank you, President Lin. And right now we just move on. Attendance drawing. Today's part is $50. What is the name? Ella Slim. Not here, right? Ella Slim. Ella Slim. I'm so sorry. Gone. So next week gonna be accumulated at $75. And now we have a two winner. Let's move quickly. WSG VR store gift card certificate, $20. The first winner is Lane Duran. Lane Duran. Congratulations. And second one is Paul Train. Paul Train. Congratulations. All right. And next will be education schedule. All right. We have 3 free classes to offer to our member. And one of our member benefit, January 16th, Tuesday, 11 to 12. And that is Meet and Learn. Let's talk about live event. And zip phone training, Monday, January 22nd, 9:30 to 12:30 p.m. And Emers Agent Essential Metrics Training, Wednesday, January 24, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the next one is a paid class. If you need renew your license, 45 hours, DRE license, renew continue education classes, January 26th, 9:30 to 12, Friday, $85. All right, please make sure to participate this classes. Most of them are free. And make sure at this time, if you want to announce, we have 2 announcements here. First is Stephanie Kevin, Union Station Homeless Service. Is it Stephanie here? Or Kevin? Yes. Please use the mic in the center.
Everybody, we have a landlord workshop in Monterey Park. It's going to be January 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be held at the Sierra Vista Park Community Center. So since it's a new year, there's new laws for rental property. So if you guys are a landlord and want to learn more, feel free to come. You have to register on the website. So that's it.
Thank you. And next is Albert, our CEO.
Very quickly, as you can see, that our association logo is West Hagerville Realtor, where members come first. And we're always thinking about you. So please, if anything that you have in mind for the MLS breakfast meeting, please take a picture of this or get your phone right now, scan it, and then do a little survey and let us know how we do here, as well as any additional information that you want to learn from. So thank you. So please do that. We're going to do this every week so you can send us a survey. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, we will announce the lucky winning ticket number for today's 50/50 raffle. And what is the money amount? $73. And the number is 685-765. 765. Oh, congratulations, Patty Shang, Pinnacle Real Estate, right? Move fast. Please join us next week as we welcome Phil Adwan, Exchange Resources. His topic will be 1031 Exchange Update. Thank you all for joining our meeting today. Have a wonderful day. This meeting is now adjourned, and see you next Thursday.